The Bitcoin price has pumped over 7% just in the last 24 hours, now sitting at 64,000 per coin, and there are reasons for it. One being Jerome Powell speaking at Jackson Hole, giving us a little bit of insight into where we are going with Fed policy, monetary expansion, but also we have massive global liquidity uptick at the moment, and we will be looking at this in this video. What exactly is flowing into the economy right now? There are a couple of very interesting things in the charts at the moment that are going to play out probably in the next couple of days and weeks, and that give us insights into the direction of the crypto market in the rest of this year. So make sure to stay tuned all the way throughout this video. Hey everyone, it's the Patient Hodler coming at you with another market update, very quick update video. So if you enjoy these market updates, then smash up the like button right now. Make sure that you let me know through the like button that you want more of these update videos. And let's jump right into this video with the Bitcoin chart. So as you can see, Bitcoin has pumped 5.5% up to where we are right now, about 7% to the new local high here. This is a very low time frame with only 2-hour chart, but we can see that we have pumped. And the reason for this is Jerome Powell at Jackson Hole on Friday afternoon basically said that the time for a pivot has come, that the time to adjust policy has come, that the labor market is not strong enough anymore to sustain the current policy, and that they are going to shift this. So listen for yourselves. I'm going to put it in here in this video, the most important parts of his Jackson Hole speech.
Inflation has declined significantly. The labor market is no longer overheated, and conditions are now less tight than those that prevailed before the pandemic. My confidence has grown that inflation is on a sustainable path back to 2%. It seems unlikely that the labor market will be a source of elevated inflationary pressures anytime soon. We do not seek or welcome further cooling in labor market conditions. The time has come for policy to adjust. The time has come for policy to adjust. The time has come for policy to adjust.
So obviously a shift in policy for us in crypto implies that there is a shift towards better conditions for the crypto market, and we will see in the following charts also what is going to play out. So look at the monthly, for example, because you know on this channel we like the higher time frames, like the monthly chart. And as we have discussed before already, we see that price is coming back into this bull flag. You remember that this was a large red candle to the downside. In this month we have even reached below 50,000 price levels already, so we have back tested down to this range here, and now we have recovered all the way, showing us that this bull flag here is still valid, and we're going to close this bull flag in 1 week. We are going to close this candle in 1 week, and that would confirm that this bull flag is intact, and very, very likely throughout the next 1 or 2 months we are going to find a breakout to either side of this flag, but it will play out until into October. And as you know also, October is also referred to as Uptober. So this here could give us a very bullish indication of a continuation of our trend. But also, if you direct your attention to the DXY, meaning the dollar valuation against other currencies, then we see we are on the verge of a breakout to the downside for the DXY. And historically, the DXY going to the downside has caused risk on assets, especially Bitcoin and altcoins, to go on massive rallies. Basically, since the bottom is in on our crypto market, which was here, we are on this path to the downside, but we haven't really lost support. So there were many attempts of the DXY to lose support, and now we're back at it again, and maybe this time with the rate cuts that are coming in about 25 days or something like that, it could be actually the time where the DXY loses support. And if that happens, we will go into a massive parabolic move. You see here our previous bull markets marked with the yellow lines here. This is what happened to the DXY, and this caused massive parabolic upside, whereas the phases when we had a strengthening dollar were violent bear markets, devastating bear markets for us in crypto. So looking at this massive support line that is active since years, if we were to lose this right now, we could look at the parabolic move playing out throughout the rest of this year and into the next year. This is one way of looking at it. And if you consider a triangle here, so to say, the measured move would give us this target exactly going to the bottom here. And then we will see if we would even lose this major support that is playing out here, basically playing out since a decade. So this is definitely something to consider, that also this might be the end. But first of all, we have to break this and then lose this level. This is not confirmed yet, but I think there is a good chance with the rate cuts that are coming and the following of massive money printing and global liquidity expansion that this will happen eventually, maybe even with the weekly close this week and following up in the next weeks. Another good way to look at this is actually the USDT, so the Tether dominance over the crypto market. Now we're looking directly into the crypto market, and also here, wherever Tether is losing dominance towards the crypto market, we have massive pumps, because that basically means that Tether is taken and converted into crypto in most of the cases. There is also the case where in a crisis environment, technically Tether is converted back to normal dollar, but in most cases the Tether dominance is showing whether people are moving out or into crypto assets. And we see that our sideways consolidation actually is also marked by people moving into the US Tether, and now we have a slight drop off. So here it will be very interesting if we would lose this rising channel to the downside that also coincides with above resistance, which is also a long-term resistance with a lot of confluence, as we can see here. And the green arrow here is marking that the dominance could be going to the downside now, basically meaning that at some certain catalyst and event, people will allocate Tether to the crypto market, diminishing or reducing the dominance of US Tether in comparison to the rest of the crypto market, meaning they allocate billions and billions of USDT into the market, and that will be very likely mostly in the beginning Bitcoin and then also altcoins. What we have to keep in mind when we're talking about Fed policy and events speaking at Jackson Hole is that before, whenever there was this event at Jackson Hole where policy was announced, we had a market crash afterwards. So you see it here, all the blue lines are followed by a market crash afterwards. So we see this is true every single time. So what that means is, in this case, by the way, it is already beginning before, then there is this event and then the crash is coming in. What this means is that we could have a shorter term crash event that can prolong, where we are really entering the massive rally in the crypto market. And usually these events are followed by massive money printing and stimulus to save the economy in whatever shape or form. And we can see already that this is happening. For example, the People's Bank of China is injecting massive liquidity at the moment. In total, 420 billion US dollars. That's almost $500 billion added to global liquidity. The People's Bank of China is just in the beginning of another liquidity expansion cycle because their economy is struggling at several parts. And that is not only the People's Bank of China. It's also the US, it's also Europe, it's also other countries that are going to expand with liquidity because they see the signs of struggling economies. And yes, there could be an announcement of recession, like global recession, but also US recession, which is, in my opinion, already going on. And if that announcement comes, it can lead to a flash crash. So be prepared that the upside will quickly look as more downside in the immediate short term. But global liquidity should add long term to massive price increases as we see it here. Now, this is a very, let's say, cluttered chart, but just direct your eye to the orange chart, which is a Bitcoin price action, and to the dark blue line, which is the year-over-year percentage change in global liquidity. Whereas we also have marked all-time highs whenever Bitcoin is forming new all-time highs with little dark blue dots here, right? And what we can see is that every time the global liquidity is expanding, it also has an effect on Bitcoin in the same way that Bitcoin is entering the parabolic phase. So for example, we see here global liquidity starts to expand and the bottom is in here at the very early Bitcoin bull run. Basically, bottom is in the bear market, leading into a bull run here. Then we have sideways liquidity and another liquidity expansion, right? And here's parabolic phase. Now the same thing happens here when global liquidity turns around here. Also here, our bear market trough reaches its final sideways movement before it pumps up again. Global liquidity starts expanding, moves sideways, the crypto market as well, and then the C19 crash, and then a massive run because of liquidity expansion that we had in the last time. Now this time also liquidity starts turning around and moves upwards. So we have already our first leg of liquidity expansion, and we have in this last bear market found our bear market trough exactly when liquidity is expanding again. So you see here, it's actually, it doesn't depend on the halving directly, right? You see it here. Here are the halvings, halving 1, 2, 3. That reduces the Bitcoin supply that is coming in and adds to what is happening to the Bitcoin price. But the major factor that is actually driving whether the Bitcoin price is going down, up, or sideways is the global liquidity, as we can see here. So global liquidity in general, we see here as the big blue line or big blue body, and the year-over-year change in global liquidity is what's driving how steep the increase is. So we see here global liquidity is going up in general. That makes Bitcoin going up in general. But the year-over-year change determines if we are going sideways, if we're going slowly up, or if we're going into a parabolic move towards all-time highs. Now, what is happening right now? Actually, in this sideways move that we just had for the past 6 months, since February, we also had a very slow year-over-year change in global liquidity. So nothing really happened. In fact, Fed also, because of false jobless claim numbers, over almost 1 million false, maintained policy stable of cutting rates. Now they will cut the rates, but maybe it's too late, which can then lead into something breaking in the economy, which will make them to bring out more stimulus even to save that whatever part that is in the economy that is suffering from totally collapsing, right? So they've already shown that this big US debt that they have, that they will support it with money printing. They have already shown it. So there's no default coming for the US. But what is coming is that the US will start expanding liquidity. The question is when. Will it be in 1, 2, 3 months? So technically, we have until the election anyways, until there is a substantial change in policy. So we need to be very cautious here that we are positioned right. So in my opinion, what does that mean? I think that in sideways movements, leverage trades are extremely risky. So I wouldn't recommend that. I think that we are definitely in a bull market. So shorting the market at this point is also very, very risky. We have some degenerates in our comments that always brag about how they are shorting the market. So how much truth is on that, we don't know. But I think it's very risky at this present moment to short the market or to go on leveraged longs, right? In my opinion, the only play that really works out in the long term is to buy and hold Bitcoin, right? Is this a good time to buy? Considering looking at the previous cycles and when liquidity turned around, moved sideways and came back before it really went on ballistic, right? If you would take this run and compare it to this here, we have all this part in the red cycle in front of us if we were to move in this cycle. And you know, if you are subscribed to this channel, follow me a longer time, you know that I'm of the opinion that we're about to repeat something like this cycle again. And that we're actually in the middle of it, that we are somewhere here in this stage. So all the parabolic run is still in front of us, in my opinion. We see it here in global liquidity. There are two possibilities only for governments worldwide. Either they default on the debt because they cannot repay it, or they are going to print money to repay the debt. And that is stimulus into the market. That increases global liquidity. Global liquidity increases this, and that makes a year-over-year change, percentage change in global liquidity that is going to go way higher, which leads to parabolic move in the next couple of months. Overall, if we're just looking at the global liquidity index, we also see that we are in an upwards move, and that this move is cyclical in almost 4-year cycles. So we are just there, and this determines, in my opinion, the 4-year cycle way more than the actual halving and cutting the supply in half does. Again, cutting the supply in half has a long-term effect, like increased scarcity, which is probably not priced in because people just get Bitcoin whenever they demand it at slightly higher prices from miners, from bigger whale wallets and so on. But at some point, this massive supply shock will hit. And we can also see it if we're looking at the daily inflows only of the couple of days prior to this video. So this is from Friday, the last week, and we see here daily inflows. Bitcoin ETFs bought 4,009 Bitcoin. The daily production of Bitcoin is only 450. So on this day, the daily inflow into those ETFs is 10 times what is being produced. All in all, I think that the boring consolidation zone is almost over. We see it here. Every cycle, we get the same pattern of boring sideways consolidation, which is probably the most difficult phase for any hodler to sustain, because not only is it devastating like in a bear market, but there's also nothing happening in these drawdowns. So it seems that this time, in every time of these phases, it seems that this time is different and that this phase is never coming. But also, if you're looking at it, every time since 3 cycles, it has repeated more or less in the same way. So we are sitting here now, this parabolic phase very likely comes, and many people are not talking about it as if this time was different and it will not come. And this is exactly what differs from a real cycle top. When we're up here, there is no one disagreeing anymore at the cycle top that we're going to go higher. Everyone is excited. Everyone feels rich. Everyone thinks that we're going to go higher. This is not the case here right now. We do not have the typical top signs. Instead, we have people telling about shorting the market, that this time is different. We're going to not see a bull market this time because of recession and this and that. But from everything that you've seen global liquidity, I believe that we are going to just perform in the same way as we have been performing here. So let me know in the comments below what you think about this. Do you think that the bull run is still on, or do you think that this time is different? Are you in open shorts like some of the people that are watching this channel, or are you bullishly long in your Bitcoin position? Let me know in the comments below about this. Also, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe to this channel. Consider becoming a channel member if you want to sponsor this channel and help me a little bit to get more content out here. But other than that, wherever you are on the world, have yourselves a great morning, evening, day, night, or afternoon, and I catch you in the next video or live stream. Bye.